What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to another episode of the Struggle to Strength podcast, your source for real life application on how to turn your struggles into strengths in all things mind, muscle, and money. I am your host, Josh Levine. I am joined here by my longtime friend and my co-host, Travis Hatch. And today we are joined by Jeremy Herider. I'm probably not even saying that right. We never asked him how to say that. Anyway.
That's a good point.
It's not Herider.
It's got to be Herider.
It's got to be Herider.
Jeremy Herider.
Herider.
I don't know.
Today we are joined by Jeremy Herider, former baseball...
James, cut this. Edit this.
Edit. Fix it in post. Today we are joined by Jeremy Herider, former MLB baseball player, CrossFit Games champion, and now he spends his days helping thousands of humans create their optimal self by getting uncomfortable, defining values, and creating the daily habits needed to become the person they want to be. Y'all, Jeremy has some wild and massively impactful stories that will light a whole ass fucking fire under your ass. All of my team of Haley people, my boardroom people, anybody who wants to relentlessly improve their lives, y'all are gonna get hype from this one. I can promise you that, so stay tuned. Before we get into it, we ask that if you love this episode, as always, please give us 5 stars on Apple or a follow on Spotify. Share us on your socials. You can find me at Josh Levine Fitness, Travis at Travis Hawks Media, and Jeremy at optimal_self and at Base Brawl. Links are in the show notes. Don't forget, y'all, you can also follow the podcast on Instagram now. The Struggle to Strength podcast is lit right now, and there are tons of valuable clips on there for y'all to review, so go check it out. Share them on your stories. We really appreciate it. You can find us at Struggle2 Strength Pod. That's it. Y'all better buckle up for this one because Jeremy brings the heat, and y'all are going to get fired the fuck up to go after everything you've ever wanted. I can promise you that. We will see you inside.
You got to get around people. I mean, you've heard this a million times, and I'm spitting proof of like, yo, I'm trying to get into the rooms where I'm the dumbest dude there. Like,
yeah. I love that. Yep, for sure. The dumbest,
like where I just feel like
an
asshole. Like I'm like, oh shit. I hope these guys don't realize what it's so true, man. Like every level of sport for me was that way, that I walked into locker rooms going, yo, I'm in the wrong. I just saw that guy on TV and oh shit, I know that dude. Like, I'm like, holy shit. But here's the truth, dude, is you get out on the field and all of a sudden you start playing the same game and you're like, well, it's not too far off here, man. Like, like all that work is like, all of a sudden you're like, oh shit. And they're looking at you. You know, what's very funny is some of the best in the world, the guys that are like that are known at, and you get in those locker rooms, you get in those places that they feel the same way, that they're not like, oh, I'm the baddest dude on earth. They're like, fuck, can I keep pulling this off? Can I keep doing this? You know what I mean?
Well, that's a winner's mentality.
Totally.
Right? Like I saw this quote recently. It was like, lazy people do a little bit of work and expect to be great. Winners do a lot of work and are still like, fuck, am I doing enough? Am I being lazy? Like all the time.
I saw that.
I was like,
that coach from Georgia Tech.
Yeah, dude, it was so good.
I was like,
I replayed it
lazy.
like 20 times. I was replaying it to my girlfriend, dude.
Same.
Like,
it was
babe,
so
you
good.
gotta check this out.
It was so good. And I'm sure some people don't understand, but I'm like, oh shit. Like, yeah, I was talking to my therapist recently. I'm like, I always feel like I'm late or like I have more to do. And she's like, yeah, that's just how it is. She works with like hyper competitive, very successful people. And she's like, yeah, it's just how it is. It's just how you get used to it.
So true, man. So true.
So you've seen this. I mean, you've got a really cool resume because you've seen this from a number of different professional avenues. Like you were in the MLB, you were CrossFit Games champion. Have you always known to surround yourself with people who are better than you? Or have you always known to have a coach? Or was this something your parents helped you with? How'd this start? Or are you just like, you just get it?
No, man. Like, so I didn't realize that until it was already in those places. I didn't realize it. Let me be clear. I was not the best kid. I didn't make all-star teams. I wasn't, like I go now, I have my 2 girls. I mean, they're grown now, but and my girlfriend has a son, and we go and you just see these kids, even at 6, 7, 8 years old, there's just certain kids that you're just like, whoa,
like they got it.
Like,
yep.
Like, holy shit. And let's just be clear. I wasn't that kid. Like, I wasn't the kid that you were like, I was tiny, man. I was a little dude. I mean, I grew 2 inches after high school. I gained 20 pounds at my from my freshman to junior year in college. Like, I started to get strength that was competitive, right? My technique was competitive, but I wasn't strong enough to make a difference. So to answer your question, no, the answer is I was the exact opposite. Here's the thing is my life, my story, it all changed my 13-year-old year. I'll share this story with you and the listeners so that they get it. Is that my 13-year-old, I never made all-stars. I played my ass off. I loved playing. My mom will tell you from the day I came out of the womb, I was like, yo, I'm going to do this. Right. But the same thing goes like when you're 6, 7, 8, 9, and you say, hey, I'm going to be a professional baseball player. People are like, oh, that's so cute. Go get him, kid. You know what I mean? Everybody's behind you. Mm-hmm. When you're 16, 17, or you know what I mean? And you're still the same size, you know what I mean? They're like, hey, kid, you might want to think about something else, right? You know what I mean? You should go down to the Pep Boys. I think, you'd be a good mechanic or whatever. You know what I mean? Not that that's a bad job. I'm just saying, like, they're like, dude, you better do something else, right? And so, but here's the turning point, right? My 13-year-old year, my team won the championship. And when you win the championship, your coach is the coach of the all-star team. And I'm like, our coach was also one of my best friend's fathers. I've known the guy. He's known me my whole life, been on vacations with him. Like, I'm like, holy shit, he gets to pick the last 2 guys. We won the championship. I'm our starting shortstop, right? Like, I'm going to get picked. Like, there's no way he doesn't pick me, right? And so I had this whole thing made up in my head about like how I'm going to be on All-Stars for the first time. This is going to be so great. It's the greatest year ever. And we get to the, ceremony and my name doesn't get called. And I was crushed, obviously, and pissed off and, all the things a 13-year-old, boy is. And you go to the pizza party after, we're at the pizza parlor and the parents are drinking beers and, kids can play video games and, everybody's celebrating and everybody's raw. Well, I walked over to him and I asked him, and I said, hey, and he said, looks at me, he's like, yes, son. And I said, how come you didn't pick me? How come I didn't make All-Stars? And I want everyone to be clear of this. I'm a 50-year-old man. That was a 13-year-old boy. And I can still, to this moment, right this second, I can tell you what he was wearing. I can tell you what I was wearing. I can tell you the smells. I can tell you the sounds that were happening in that moment. Still vivid, like it was yesterday. And he looked me dead in the face and he said, because you weren't good enough. Flat out, deadpan, Boom. No nothing, no explanation, because you weren't good enough. Now, listen, I know what that sounds like. It's horrible. And yes, I was crushed. Let's make no mistake about that. My heart hurt. I was like, right? I couldn't breathe. I walked away, went over and stood by the games. Then I ran to the front and I begged the lady up front to let me use the phone. Can you please call my mom? Please call my mom. And she's like, no, you can't. I said, please, it's very important. She calls mom. She's like, fine. She dials it. She literally hands the phone over, right? And I'm sitting there. Mom answers the phone. I said, Mom, you got to come get me. She said, why? I said, please just come get me. Please, please, please. I'm begging you. She's like, you're supposed to stay the night. It's a sleepover. It's the last day of the year, right? All the cool shit. And I'm like, please, 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 please. She's like, fine, I'm on my way. Hand back the phone. Don't even go back inside. Go back to where everybody was. I literally walked out the front door and sat on the curb. My mom's car she pulled up and I jumped in that car. And at that moment, it was like release. Sobbing, like uncontrollable. I can't breathe. And my mom is like, what is going on? Jeremy Michael, what in the hell is going on? Talk to me. Right. And I'm like, no, please go, please go, please go. And she's like, I'm not moving the car. I'm not moving the car till you tell me what happened. So I tell her. And like any parent, anybody listening right now is like, what? Somebody just told my kid they're not good enough. Like this son of a bitch, like they're ready to come. Right. She literally is pulling into now a parking spot to go in there and give him I'm like, oh my God, Mom, I'm embarrassed. Please, please, please. I'm begging you. I'm begging you. I'm begging you. Please don't. Now, I don't know if my mom knew what she was doing in this moment or not, but the paradigm shifting of my life at that age, she looked me dead in the face. She said, okay, stop. Listen to me. And she said, you don't want me to go in there? And I said, please don't, Mom. I'm begging you. I'm embarrassed enough. Please don't go in there. And she said, what do you want to do about it? Okay. So what are you going to do? Even to this moment right now, fellas, like I when I tell that story, I still get this sense of calm. Literally she asked me that question and my whole body went calm. Like everything slowed down like for a split second. All the panting, all the crying, all of that shit, it just subsided. And literally in my head, I'm like, so what are you going to do? And I was like, holy shit. So on the West Coast, I live in California, grew up in California, and we have the sporting goods back then was called Big Five Sporting Goods, right? You have Dick's and all kinds of shit now where people live, whatever. But just think the biggest sporting goods store that you can imagine. That's what it was. It was called Big Five. And I said, Mom, can we go to Big Five? She literally looked at me like I was crazy. She was like, what? You want to go where? Like, you don't want to go get ice cream? We can't just make this better with, some cake and ice cream, or, maybe go buy a toy at Target or something, right? Like let's distract and mask this with the good, right? Ice cream is good. And I was like, can we go to Big Five? And she's like, fine, whatever. So we drive over, we get out of the car, we go inside, I take her over to the baseball section. Just like I told you, I can see what he was wearing and what I was wearing. And I remember this vividly, still vivid as day. We walk over and there's a big yellow sign. It's on sale, right? Sale, it says at the top, $19.99. And I point over at it and I said, I said, I want that. And my mom looks at me, she's like, what is that? I'm like, it's a batting tee, Mom. Can I have that batting tee? And she goes, all this is happening right now. And this is what you want. Like any parent listening, you're like $20 and my kid's going to be appeased. My little 13-year-old boy is going to be like, cool. Like I'm okay now, Mom. Like, and she's like, fine. Probably the best easiest $20 she ever spent. Easiest, right? She gets it off. We buy it. All no shit. I got home that night. That day we got back to the house, put that shit together. And I promised myself I'm going to hit 100 balls off of this thing every day. Every single day I'm going to hit 100 balls off of this thing. And I did. And I made it a goal. I had streaks. I looked at it every day. I had calendars. I was like marking days that every time I did it, I was marking a day. And here's what I want people to know is that the next year I didn't make All-Stars. The next years I made the high school team, but I didn't start. I was the last man on the bench. I got more water for the team than I did at bats, like innings played. Like I sat on the bench way more innings than I played. Same, by the time you're sophomore now, junior, by the time my senior year in high school, 5 years later, 18 years old, my senior year in high school, I led the team in hitting. I was the most valuable player voted by our team. I made the All Valley team, which was all over. And I was the only kid on my team to get a scholarship to go play baseball. I say that for this reason. Most people in our lives, we want immediate results. That's how life is today. We have a phone in our hand. We have Amazon delivering shit on like the hour, right? You push a button and shit shows up to your door, right? We have this immediate gratification thing now that we think that's how life is. If I would have gone and taken 100 swings and expected to make All-Stars the next year, guess what? It wouldn't have worked. I would have been lost, right? I would have been over because it wouldn't have happened. It didn't happen. It's fact. All I cared about was I'm going to keep swinging. I'm going to keep swinging. I'm going to keep swinging. And I could see incrementally getting better. There were days that I was getting better. Balls were flying a little bit farther. I was getting a little bit better. Not great, but I was getting a little bit better until it started to come together. And you've heard this before, and most of your listeners have as well, is that we overestimate what we can do in a year and we underestimate what we can do in the next 5 or 10. But the thing is consistency to an action is how results happen. It's not one time. It's not go do 100 sit-ups and then go check and see if your abs are there. Like that ain't going to happen, right? It's not like, oh, I ate a salad instead of driving through and having an Egg McMuffin. And now let me go check the scale. I should be down 50 pounds. That's not going to happen, right? But that's how we think. That's what happens. So I want people to realize is that that wasn't the point. My point was not a result. I didn't know if I was going to get a scholarship. My goal was not to be the MVP of the team. It wasn't. My goal was to get my ass out there every single day and hit 100 balls. That was my goal. My goal was not to make it, you know what I mean? Like as you start to get older, as things start to happen, yeah, Division I is where I wanted to play. I wanted to be with the big boys. I wanted to test my skills. I wanted to get challenged by the best in the world at amateur baseball. Like that, yeah, that was a goal, right? So you have to have some of those, but my goal was never to be that. My goal was to get my ass up every day and hit 100 balls. Because when I did that, I knew that I had at least no one was ever going to tell me I didn't make it because I didn't work at it. I was going to work at it. And one other piece I want people to understand is that think about what I said about how I interpreted why I should have been on that 13-year-old All-Star team. Because he liked me, because he was my dad, he was sort of a dad to me, because, I was on the championship team, not because I earned it, not because I was better. And let me be very clear, because I had that conversation with him way later in life. Later in life, 7 of those guys that were on that team that made that All-Star team are all still my friends to this day. And that coach came and bought a ticket to watch me play baseball. They paid in parking and came to a stadium and bought a ticket to watch me play baseball. I say that we went to dinner that night and I was telling him this same story that I told you. I was like, do you remember this? I was like, you changed my life. Thanks to you is why I'm here. And he was devastated. He was like, I did what? I said, what to you? Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I said, don't be sorry. It's the greatest thing. You told me the truth. You told me the truth, because here's the fact. There were 10 other teams in that league. There are 120 kids in that league. 15 made the All-Star team. So if I was the 16th best kid that year out of 120, that's pretty damn good. I still wasn't good enough for that team. I wasn't. And if I would have got on there when I didn't deserve it, maybe that never happens. Probably because I liked practice and I like that kind of shit. But my point is that we got to stop looking for the handout. We got to stop expecting it. We got to think that we should be given shit. Like nothing in this world is given. The confidence that you have today is only earned. You can't, everything has to be earned. And so what he said to me that day was the truth. He didn't say that I would never be good enough. He said, and the way I take it now and the way that I transpose that into my life today is, you're not good enough yet. What do I got to learn? What skill do I have to develop so that I can be good enough? Happens in every day, happens in my businesses now. I look at it and I go, oh shit, we're getting our ass kicked. What do we got to learn? Who do we got to hire? Who do I got to get in on this team? Because we got to get better, right? So in that moment, you have a choice. And I ask everybody right now, if you're struggling, what are you going to do about it? So what are you going to do? Not what my mom could do for me, not what he could do for me, not what the government can do for me, not what this. No. What are you going to do? She asked me that question. I say this, and I've had this conversation with my mom. God, I say, I don't know if you know what you were doing that day. She doesn't even remember it. How about that? She does not even remember that moment. She doesn't. She's like, what? I don't even remember that. I'm like, yeah, because you were busy being a mom. You were taking care of other kids and all that. You know what I mean? So what I want people to understand in that regard is, it's the success comes with consistency to the actions that are in alignment. My alignment was, yeah, man, I want to go play college baseball. That was first and foremost. I'd say, yeah, I want to be a pro baseball player, but the truth was I wanted to go play college baseball. That's what I wanted first. And were the choices that I was making in alignment with that. And first and foremost, let's go hit off that tee. And I want you boys to know this, that tee is still with me to this day. To this day, I've moved all around the country, played in different states, I played in different countries. That shit doesn't even go on the moving van. It goes in my car, whatever I'm traveling, because I don't ever want to lose that sight. People are like, oh man, that crush. Yeah, I don't ever want that 13-year-old boy to leave. He ain't leaving. I need him. I need him every day to push my ass to be better, to understand that, even what you see, the accolades, like you're like, oh, okay, man, you got to pro ball, you play for the Reds and the Diamondbacks, man, first hit in the history of the Diamondbacks. Like, I got some cool shit, right? CrossFit Games, won an event, man, the best in the world. That means nobody in the world that day. You were against the best in the world across that line and you beat them. Like, okay, but it's accomplishment. That's it. And here's what I want people to know. I don't look back on those and go, oh, those are my glory days, right? Like, oh, that's when let me be very clear. That dude didn't have a chance in this seat today. He get his ass kicked. He is not good enough. He is not good enough. I'm telling y'all right now, the best is still yet to come. That's the truth. The best is yet to come.
Man, that's a powerful story. You learned that at a young age too, man. Like, I have so many clients and a lot of people that we run into that don't yet understand the things that you have learned at such a young age, where focus on what's in front of you, be disciplined in doing what will get you to your goal. Don't stare at your fucking goal though. You're going to crash on the way there.
Yeah.
You got to keep your eyes on what's in front of you. So you decided that you were going to hit 100 balls every day and you were 13 years old. A lot of people are going to listen to that and be like, oh man, how do you stay motivated? How do you stay motivated to hit 100 balls every day? You and I both know it's not about motivation.
Not at all.
So tell us, what is it?
Let me be very clear. Let me just say to you this: motivation is bullshit.
Facts.
There is no such thing. If I waited to be motivated, bro, I wouldn't even get out of bed half my days. If you spent with them covers up to my neck, man, it's so warm. I got a comfy bed. If I was waiting for the motivation god to come down and, strike me so I'd get my
waiting for the right time. No, it's never going to happen.
Nah, it's not. So let's be clear. People don't lack motivation. They lack clarity. So when you don't have clarity, that's your most time when you don't feel motivated, is because you don't even have clear. And what I mean by clarity is the goal. What is it? What is it truly? And I don't mean the end goal. I mean the daily goal. Because again, like you said, yeah, it's great, right? I get this all the time. Hey man, I want to build this company. I want to make $1 million. Great. Let's build the plan. I can show you how to do it. No doubt. I can show you the track record. I can show you the people who have taught it, who've done it. I can build that plan. But here's what I want people to understand. When we do that, I ask the question, I say, okay, whatever your goal is, and we make the plan for it. I'm sure with you, with fitness and you see them, you're like, hey, I need to lose 50 pounds. Great. Okay. Here's our track record. Here's what we got. Here's what we do. Okay. Here's the nutrition plan. Here's what you're going to eat. And here's our exercise plan. Here's the start. We're going to graduate to this. We're going to make sure you move correctly, right? We can go all down all this. Plan it's set, man. It's foolproof. And we got track record to prove it. So I ask those people, and I'm sure you do the same thing. Do you believe this plan will work? Do you believe the plan will work? 99.9999 go. Oh, hell yeah. Hell yeah. That looks awesome. That's good shit. I know the track. Yeah, man, that will work. They know it. The plan will work. But I always tell them this, and I want people to get this. Belief is a two-sided coin. The first side of belief is what I just asked you. Do you believe in the plan that we set? Do you believe that it's possible? Do you believe that will work? Yes. Okay, now let's turn this thing over. And I'm going to ask you this. Do you believe that you are worthy of that goal? Do you believe that you are capable of that goal, of following that plan? And do you think you're deserving of that kind of success? Because you see, most people see the plan and they get fired up. They're like, fuck yeah, man, I'm in it. Fuck yeah, let's roll. Like, yeah. But what they're not looking at is their internal. And so when they walk out that door to come back the next day, and they're laying in bed and they got to be there at 6 a.m. to get it done before work, right? And they're like, oh shit, and that alarm goes off and the oh shit factor happens. But here's why. It's not lazy. It's not procrastination. It's none of that. It's because you don't believe you're worth it. Because you don't believe you're deserving of it. Because you see it. And that's where people miss the boat. They lack clarity on that. They lack belief, right? My mission in life now, the reason why I spin my ass out of bed, put my feet on the ground, do my 9 breaths every morning before I get out of bed, I breathe from my diaphragm and I change my sight. I change my state to get myself ready to roll every day. But the reason is my mission is to help and inspire people to change behavior through belief, what we just talked about, and action, so they can be the best version of themselves. Not my version, not optimum, none of that. Not that. It's your version. I want you to have, again, to change behavior. Because if you want something different, you have to do something different. Because the current behaviors got you where you are today. That you have to take responsibility for. Not your parents' fault, not your coach's fault, not your mom's fault, whatever, not your dad, nothing. Your behaviors are yours. You got to own them, right? And when we talk about motivation, I love you bringing that up, is that there's actually in psychology, it's called the self-determination theory. Self-determination. How do I self-determine what I'm going to do? There's 3 pillars: competency, autonomy, and relationships. And exactly what you're talking about. Think about this. People are motivated or self-determining when they're competent in what they do. When you're very good at it, you will fucking get up and do it. A lot of you'll be way motivated to do that shit. I tell people all the time, like, if you called me and said, hey, we're going to go out and drink some beers and play some golf, I'd go with you, right? Because I'd like to hang out and I'd like to see you. But if you asked me if I was going to go play golf today, I'd be like, no, I suck at it. I don't put enough work into it, right? And I mean, don't get me wrong, I can hit the shit out of it. So, I mean, and probably like 2 out of the 18, it's going to go right down the middle. I'm going to look like a world champion. But the other times I suck because I'm not competent. I have no desire to go do it on a regular basis. I just don't, right? Think about the things that you're super competent in and how can I get more competent? So if you're lacking competency in the thing that you want, if you're lacking motivation, you probably got to get your skill better. You probably got to get better. You got to get more competent at that thing. The second one is what you're talking about today, is autonomy. Autonomy means you have to be responsible for you. All the results. At Optimal Self, one of our quotes, one of the things we have on all the pages when we work together is that it says, listen, the moment you take responsibility for everything in your life, you unlock your own power to have anything in your life. But the moment you take responsibility for everything, every single thing, your waistline, your bank account, every single thing that you want to blame on somebody, the moment you take responsibility, you unlock your power. The power is in you. Right now, you're in your own prison, locked up to think it's somebody else's fault to why I'm here. That's okay. And listen, there's some trauma, there's some bad things out there. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to discredit people that have gone through some horrible things or had horrible things done to them. That's not my point. My point is saying, I got to take responsibility for me. And when you do, you unlock the power to have anything in your life. That's how we self-determine. That's how we get motivated. We get clear, and then we get competent, and then we take responsibility for the results. And when you do, you unlock your own power, man. You get to have the power. You take your power back.
I agree with that. And I think I like the point on competence. Travis and I, we talk about taking responsibility, taking ownership quite often on the podcast. Mm-hmm. I like your point about competence because, people who are good at stuff do the stuff they're good at. No one likes doing shit they're not good at. So I always said, capability breeds confidence. Capability creates confidence. Yeah. You're more capable at doing something. You're going to be more confident in doing it. You're probably going to enjoy it a lot more. Anybody who gets started doing something new, you're gonna suck. The golf thing was a good example because I'm terrible at golf too.
Same.
Maybe
I think everyone is.
I think, okay. And that's the point. That's the fucking point. Everybody is terrible at golf because in golf, if you're 3 for 5 on good shots, that's you're a really good golfer in my opinion.
Yeah, you might be on the tour.
Yeah.
Now that's a B- though, right? That's a B-. You're
right.
you're average pretty much.
Right.
You're barely above average as far as the school system or whatever is concerned. So you're going to suck. The point isn't to not do those things or to look at the end goal of where you want to be. The point is to do the little shit and hit your 100 balls every day. And you're going to get better at it and you're going to want to do it. You're going to be more motivated to do it.
I really like the way that you explain that too, because I've been thinking about this a lot, the who you know versus what you know. And I think a lot of people say everything is just who you know, it's who you know how to do it. And I think that that's true in a lot of ways, but I think you get to a point where it'll turn on you because if I would, in my opinion, I feel like what you know is more important because what you know is going to get you to meet the who at some point.
You gotta apply it though.
Yeah, but that's what,
let me add on to that, Travis, really quick because this will help. I agree with everything right to this point. Look, you're right. At certain points, who you know matters, right? Because again, not even who I know, but who do I need to bring into my life or into my business to help me? But you're right. But here's the thing: knowledge and expertise is you can know all the technical sides, but you'll never have the ultimate success until you master the behavior. So again, it is knowing. Yes, it absolutely is. And I know Josh was about to say the same thing is that, but it's about behavior. If we can master the behavior that it takes, that's what's going to get it. This is very evident in the financial world. If you see some of these guys that, that they inherit money, right? We talk about a lot generational habits over generational wealth, because the people who created the wealth, these big generational wealth that gets handed down, by the third generation, do you know that 80% of it's gone? Mm-hmm. 80% of that wealth that was built. Here's why. Because those people get the wealth. They might even know, right, some of the business side of it, but they haven't built the habits that it took to build that wealth. Mm-hmm. So they haven't mastered the behavioral side. So again, what we should be handing down. Yeah, it's great to hand down wealth. I want my kids to say, hey, that was great Grandpa Jeremy's building. And he left that for us, right? That makes us $1 million a year. Of course I do. But what I want to give them more is the habits that it took to get there, the mindset, the way to reframe things, the way to think to get there. So you must master the behavior. Did you guys watch Kobe Bryant get into the Hall of Fame on Sunday? I don't know if you guys got to see that or not.
I didn't watch it, but I follow along. Okay.
But people watching this and listening to this, where this is fitness and sports, so they know who the heck Kobe Bryant is, right? Oh, yeah. So let me give it to you this way, because if you watch it and you go back in YouTube and whatever and see even his wife Vanessa talk about him and Michael Jordan talking about him, and they did some other cameos of people talking about him, almost to a person, they talked about his work ethic. Mm-hmm. They talked about how he outworked everybody. But here's what I want people to understand, exactly what we're talking about right now about behavior. Kobe Bryant, when I say that, people go, oh yeah, he scored 81 against the Knicks, 5 championships, MVPs. Now they're going to say Hall of Famer, right? He's going to go down as one of the greatest basketball players ever. He didn't master basketball. He missed more shots than he made. Like most do, right? Nobody makes every fucking shot. Not even the best in the world. He didn't master basketball. Let's be clear. What he mastered was showing up every day. What he mastered was getting to the gym before you and outworking you. He mastered that. He mastered the art of showing up. And here's why I want people to understand this. There's a great quote that talks about this. I don't know if you guys have it. It's called The Book of Five Rings. I highly recommend it. It's a samurai warrior in the 1600s. His name is Miyamoto Musashi. And in there he writes, if you know the way broadly, you will see it in everything. If you know the way broadly, you will see it in everything. Therefore, my take on this is that excellence in anything increases your potential in everything. Now think about Kobe Bryant. Stay with me for a second. What Kobe mastered, remember the day his rookie year, he missed the last shot of the year, actually airballed it. They planned they made the play for him to playoffs, and he misses the shot. Doesn't miss the shot. He fucking airballs it. Doesn't hit a thing. Professional basketball player, right? And a shot that he probably went on to make 10,000 times in his career. Now, he went after there. They did all the media. They did all that. You know what he did? He went on, he put his practice gear on, and he went back down to the court, and he shot over 1,000 shots. Now, he's not going to play another game for God knows how long, like till the next season. He's not going to have anything meaningful for months, but he didn't even leave the arena. He didn't even leave. He went to their practice and put in shots and put in work. My point is this: he mastered the art of showing up. Now, fast forward, he retires from basketball, and he goes on to win an Oscar for writing, directing, and narrating his movie called Dear Basketball. Go see it. Go listen to it. It's amazing. My point is this, is that that's like winning a championship. That's like the championship. You know how many people have made hundreds of movies and never even been up for that kind of award, right? That are some of the best in the game, the things that you've watched, and they've never even come close. They've never even stood on that stage. But here's what he knew, right? What did he master? Because let's go back to what the samurai said. If you know the way broadly, you will see it in everything. What he knew was, I know how to put in the work. I know how to show up. I'm not a writer, but I know how to get there, and I know how to practice. I know how to show up. Check this out. His team that was around him for that, just like his basketball team. Like I said, the Hall of Fame, all those guys talked about was his work ethic, his insane cardio work ethic, his insane staying after when you would be gone, being there before you, all these things, right? They talked about it. He would be in better shape than you. So in the fourth quarter, when you sucked wind, he was by you and scoring points on you. He knew it. He knew that he could outlast you. He knew that he could outplay you because he put in the work. Those guys that surrounded him riding deer basketball said the same thing. They said, dude, it would be an 8:00 meeting and he'd be there at 6. He'd come in and he'd have shit written on the whiteboard and want to tell us all about this and talk about this. He'd have all this stuff. These are the guys that are the best in the world at it. And here comes this guy, right? And ultimately he wins the championship. He wins the Oscar. Let's talk about his daughter, Gigi, right? Here she is. She wants to be a basketball player. He's working with her and there's no real leagues for her to play in. So he gets people around and he builds up the league. He builds the Mama League. And now there's people coming in from all over the world to try to play in this girls' league because there was no real true girls' league. The boys had all kinds of stuff the girls didn't. But he knew how he mastered the art of showing up. He mastered the underground, the work. He would do it when you're not watching. He would do the way to success is not to do it. In order for you to hit that shot when Staples Center's packed and it's game 7 and that, is you must have done that a billion times when the lights were off. But what Kobe mastered was the art of showing up. Again, I say it this way, excellence in anything. So when we talk about habits, it's not about this great habit. It's about the little tiny thing that you have to do. What's the one thing that I can do today that I can duplicate day in and day out and day in and day out that's leading me towards my goal that's going to stack on top of that? Because one thing is going to lead to the next one. Right? You can't go to the end. You can't go for 50 pounds tomorrow. But what you can do, you can get your ass up, walk on that treadmill for 10 minutes and prepare your food. Like take 30 minutes and do this. That you can do. Let's string a couple of those days together. Let's string a couple of those weeks together. And let's see it's all he did. Right?
String days together. String days together. That's all it is. Those 0.1% add up. So stop looking at the long-term goal. For my clients, it's, yeah, I see your goal. I know how to get you to your goal. You know the plan is going to work. All you have to do is wake up and get your steps. You have to plan out your meals for the day. You have to hit your macros. You have to prioritize your sleep and digestion. You have to do all these little things that, like you're saying, are behaviors of the person that you want to be. You walk into the gas station. You want to be a fit and healthy person. You need some snacks. You're going to get the bag of Doritos. You're going to get the Quest bar. Do what your goal person does. And that's all it takes. Those 0.1%, they add up, man. And they just string days together. Days become weeks become months. How long can you be perfect for?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I love your story about Kobe. There's another story about Kobe that was really, really cool. And I'm probably going to botch it, but there was some big game and he was up at like 2:00 in the morning. He just couldn't sleep. And so he calls his trainer, his skills trainer. He's like, hey, I need you to meet me at the gym. He's like, what, dude? It's 2:00 in the morning. Like, come on. He's like thinking the skills trainer's thinking he's just want to go like talk or like, whatever, get some shit off his chest. They ran drills for like 6 hours and then they played the game. And his trainer's like, dude, that's just the way he was. And if you look at any successful person, not just professional athlete, that's the way they are. It's the 0.1%. It's the habits. You mentioned something earlier on, and I don't know how many people caught this, but you said you wake up in the morning, you take 9 breaths, you get yourself ready for the day. That's a routine.
100%.
People who find success are people of routine. I assume you have a very strong morning and nighttime routine. I assume everything you do is pretty routined.
Without fail.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I'm not perfect, but my morning is my morning. Like you're not getting inside of that. Like doesn't matter. Like you can call me, you can do whatever. Like you're just not getting me. And the only reason is because we call it 100 or nothing. Maybe this is because people talk about work-life balance and do this and that, right? Well, okay, that means you live somewhere in this like 60-40, 70-30 world, right? Uh-huh. Well, let me just tell you right now, 70% in anything doesn't work in my world.
No.
That's a C student. There's nothing in the world that I want to do and be a C student.
No, you're a weekend warrior at that point. And
nothing. I have zero desire. Josh, I won't do it.
Nope.
Like I said, I would rather not do it than give it 70%. Honestly, I just won't.
Same.
But so we'll call it 100 or nothing for exactly what you said. In that moment, that's all I'm doing. I'm not saying that, the balance of what you have, but if you can give to your family 100% of you, right? 100% of you in those moments, even if it's a short time, even if it's going to the movies, even if it's just at dinner or it's homework after with your kid or something, like just those small moments, it's going to be 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 40 minutes. Give that 100%. You're not checking your phone. You're not scrolling Instagram. You're not looking and again, we all have these moments in our lives and I'm not perfect. I want to be very clear on this. You want to know how to shift your life. And I hope people pay attention to these things. My daughter, Ryan's my youngest. She was 11 at the time. She's 21 now. So it was a decade ago. And it was a Sunday afternoon and she came out of her room. I was in the living room. She's like, Dad, you want to watch a movie? I was like, yeah, baby, let's do it. Right. A decade ago, we didn't stream it, right? She had to get a DVD. Those of you guys, some probably listen to this, don't even know what that is. But so she gets a DVD. I go, yeah, pick one, baby, put it on. She does. And we had this huge couch with an ottoman. We pushed the ottoman, got a blanket, right? And we sit back. And my phone, I had a charger right there next to, my phone was on the charger next to the couch. And she turns it on, whatever, a few minutes. I don't even know what the time is, whatever. But my phone buzzes. And so I check it, put it back down. It buzzes and I check it. And it buzzes. By the way, I'm running at this time, a real estate team that's doing about 100 transactions a year. Okay. And so it's busy, but again, she asked me to watch a movie with her. Right. And so I'm checking it. I'm looking back. I'm checking with it. I got my arm around her. I'm checking it. And before you know it, I'm on there. I'm answering emails. I've got a group text going with 2 other people, blah, blah, blah. Right. Like I'm basically, and I can justify this right now and be like, yes, I was working. Bullshit. Listen, nothing was going to change on Sunday afternoon at 3:00. Right. There's no banks open. There's no closings of like nothing. There's no true work time. So my point is this, I'm sitting there. I feel her get up and she goes down the hall and I hear the door close. I think she's going to the bathroom. And in that time, now I'm on the phone the whole time, to be honest. She's out. She's away from the couch. I'm on the phone. Well, I look up and now the movie's almost over and she's never came back. I'm like, what the heck's going on? So I set my phone down. I go walking back. I think she's in the bathroom. I'm like, man, does she feel good? What's wrong? Right. Turn the corner. I see the bathroom light is off. The door is open. She's not in the bed. She's not in the bathroom. I walk down to her bedroom door and it's cricked open. This is my child who is not the cleanliness child, right? She, it took an act of God to get her to pick her shit up in her room or make her bed. Right. And I open the door and I can see the room is spotless. She's sitting on her bed with a book in her hand. And again, she's sideways. So imagine, right? She's sideways to me. And I open the door and she's sitting there. Bed is made, by the way, which is very rare. And I said, right, baby. Well, I thought we were going to watch a movie. Bro, she doesn't even turn her head. She's turning the page. She turns the page of the book. She goes, yeah, Dad, let me know when you're ready to watch a movie. Doesn't look at me, looks at her book, never even fucking cracked a smile. You want to talk about getting punched in the throat? I got hit. That was the gut. That was the throat. I was like, oh, she was right. I wasn't there with her watching a movie. I was checking my phone. I was, and I could justify it, like I said, and tell you all, I was working on this real estate deal that was going to pay us $20,000, $30,000, right? And maybe it was, but it wasn't necessary. I couldn't take that hour and 22 minutes and watch Aladdin with my little girl. Bullshit. It was a paradigm shifting moment for me. I said, look, damn, she's right. That's where 100 to nothing is born. I said, this is it. Like, I do have to run businesses. I do have to run my life. I have to do. But when I'm in that moment, when I'm on that task, I'm going to give that 100%. 100% of me. Same thing goes. When she asked me to do this, if I say yes and I have the time, that's what I'm going to do. Stop trying to dabble and put your toe in over here and your toe in over here. You got 17 things going on. Like, I know we're all busy. I know. I hear it all the time. I'm not saying you only do this. I'm saying from time to time, can you take, when this is the focus, can I give this 100% of me for these 10 minutes? Sure. Yes. and then break away and go do something else, right? You can bounce in and out because that's how our brain works. But we gotta stop bullshitting ourselves. We gotta stop making excuses. More than anything in this world, she deserves 100% of me. And from that point on, I said, okay, this is it. And those girls, both of my girls, when we would go to dinner, they started doing this. Everybody's phone in the middle. I mean, that was at like 10, 11, 12 years old. Wow. They were doing it, not me. They were the ones going, nope, everybody put their phone in the middle. Let's have some fun. Let's talk. But we learn from them if we're willing. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? You can learn from anything if you're willing.
So I like where you're going with this, and yes, 100% to the things that matter. Right now, yes, you talk about focus a lot. You talk about training focus. And when you were talking about this, I was like, fuck, dude, I definitely do that. Like, I know I do. I've been, everyone has. All right. If you say you've never done that, yeah, come on, for real. All right. And in a world where we are constantly being distracted by things, and this is coming from Travis and I both have severe cases of ADHD. We're like squirrel all the fucking time. Yeah. All right. How do we train our focus? Do we just put the phone in the other room? Like, what are your tactics? How do you teach people how to focus better so that they can give 100%?
Great question. So none of it's easy. Let's just be clear, right? It's simple, but it's not easy. You have to train focus like a muscle. If you're going to go do your biceps, or you're going to go do triceps, or you're going to do your shoulders or whatever, your brain, because that's where the focus comes from, is a muscle. What we've taught it today with the luxury, because we love technology. Look, I'm guilty. I love it too. It makes our lives better. I get to hang out with you two today. There was probably no other way on earth that would have happened, in such a short period of time of just getting to know each other, right? It's fantastic. I'm not trying to downplay that whatsoever. But you have to train it like a muscle. So again, when you're training your bicep, you're literally going from flexion to extension. Like that's what you're doing. I'm sure you talk about, there is a mind muscle connection, right?
Intent.
Okay. So you're not going to be able to be focused 24 hours a day. So focus is more about elimination than it is about more things. So what is on my schedule today? What are the things that I need to get done? And what should be eliminated first? Meaning somebody else can do it, or it's just not that important, right? It's not urgent or important. I have to remove those things. I have to be able to get down to the one thing that's the most important in that moment. So again, how does that start? You noticed it earlier, but it is that morning routine. It's the first thing that I do. The very first thing I do is I spin around. I put both feet flat on the ground so I feel the floor in my feet, because there's muscles in your feet, ladies and gentlemen, that also have been up this way the whole time. So as soon as I put my feet down, you can feel that blood rush down. I want to turn on all those muscles. I want to turn on that connection from my brain to the ground. I need that because I need to be grounded. I started with my breaths, breathing. We all do it wrong. It needs to come from the diaphragm. It will change your state. It will, in your most anxious moments, breathing can fix it. It's the most amazing thing if you've never done it.
Breathing will fix everything when it comes down to it.
Box breathing. There's many ways. There's apps. There's all kinds of stuff. I do 9 breaths. Okay. 9 breaths every single morning. They're 8 seconds in, they're 8-second hold, they're 8-second out hold. So that's just my thing. Pick your poison, right? Make it your own. Do it. Cause again, don't do my shit. This is what I try to tell people. Like everyone, don't do me. Do the best version of you. Like that's what we have to figure out. But I will tell you, breathing is the most important part. The second thing I do is hydrate. Your brain is over 90% water. Your muscles are over 80% water. Your bones are over 70% water. And most people start their damn day with coffee, right? Listen, and let me be clear. I am a coffee drinker. I love coffee. If we go with the kids and get ice cream, I'm getting coffee flavored ice cream. Like that's how much I love it. No shit. I buy beans from all over the world. I crush them. I love it. I don't earn the right to have coffee until I've had 32 ounces of water half a lemon, and a pinch of Himalayan sea salt. Because Himalayan sea salt has 84 trace minerals. I'm sure you can go on and on and on too. Yeah. And I hydrate my brain, my control center first. It's the very first thing that happens. After my breath, after I've centered, boom, I'm in. I'm having my water, Himalayan sea salt, and lemon. That's the routine. Listen, and I want people to understand this. No, am I going to go down to the gym and am I going to work out and am I going to slam some barbells and do some heavy shit and crazy shit that most people won't? Yes, but don't do that. I'm not asking you to do that. I'm really not. But can you breathe and hydrate? 100%. What did we talk about before? Excellence in anything, right? Increases your potential in everything. If you can just start your day with something simple like that, you have a chance to make it through that program you're talking about. You have a chance to start to get on that path to your next goal. It doesn't have to be something crazy. I don't need you to go in and do some crazy ass CrossFit workout. I don't need you to deadlift 500 pounds. I don't need you to, do some crazy squat. I don't, but I need, if those are things, again, let's plant things that people can do. That's how to go back to your initial question here, that's how we start to increase focus, because you got to be able to do one thing great. What is that one thing that you're going to choose that you can do that we can build a streak around so that my focus is on that? I got to do that. Because once you do that, you're like, oh shit, I have it. And then I love the term, right? I got this from The One Thing, a book by Jay Papasan and Gary Keller, great book. And literally they say in that book, you've got to earn the right. So I'd ask myself every day when I smell that coffee, I see those damn beans sitting there and I look at it and I say, all right, bro, did you earn the right? Did you earn the right to have that? And if the answer is yes, let's go. Right? But it's the simple things, man. I hope people understand that. It's the simplest thing that will lead you to the next thing, that will lead you to the next thing, that will lead you to the great thing, right? But we can never lose sight of the first one, right? It's not like I did this, now I've done that for a while, so now no. That never stops. Mm-hmm. Prove it to yourself. Put those streaks together. And I say streaks, and I say it all the time, but I want to give people context around that. Again, I didn't create that. I stole it from Jerry Seinfeld, the great comedian, right? Had his own TV show and all that. In Jerry's book that I read 10 years ago, he got to California, couldn't even get on at the Comedy Store, right? The lady who ran it didn't think he was funny. Like he was like, yeah, wouldn't put him on. And again, he was like, how do I get better? I got to write jokes. So he got a calendar out and he said, I'm going to write one joke every day. And then he called it the chain. Don't break the chain. He put a red X on it and a red X on it. Every day he wrote a joke. He put an X over and over. He now has thousands of X's in a row. Right. And over time, he's known now as one of the greatest comedians in the history of it. And before he couldn't even get a walk-on spot at the Comedy Store. Mm-hmm. They wouldn't even let him in the door. You could be a patron. You could buy a drink and watch. They wouldn't let him participate.
Yep. And that's you make a point about streaks, about stringing days together, about breaking the chain. A couple things I want people to understand here. When you decide that you are going to do that, when you decide that you're going to do it for yourself, if you give yourself the opportunity to break that chain, if you give yourself the opportunity to break that streak, you have opened up a doorway to do it again. Do not do that. Do not make it an option. It's not an option. It's a fucking priority. So make it one. The second you give yourself the leeway to not do something that you promised to yourself, you're giving up on yourself. So don't do that. Number two is you were talking about your morning routine. Build your morning routine around yourself. What you do is great. Very different from my morning routine. We all have our own different morning routines. If anybody's listening, they're trying to figure out, well, oh man, I don't know what my morning routine is. Wake up on a weekend when you have nothing to do and notice what you do. You probably wake up with the sun. You probably take some time and make yourself a nice breakfast. And you probably get a nice smooth start to your day. That's a good place to start. Try to think about what makes you feel better. Like you said, water probably makes you feel better. Taking care of your body makes you feel better. You will soon have a morning routine that is built around you and what you like to do. And then make it a priority. It's not optional. That's how you're going to get better. That's one of the 0.1%. You string those together. And then, like you said, that never stops. You add upon it, you build upon it. Before you know it, you're moving smooth. You're effective. You're focused. You're getting shit done. And then you look back and you're like, holy shit, I've come far.
Right.
I didn't even realize it because you just been doing what's right in front of you day after day after day, just checking things off a list, ticking the boxes. And that's how greatness is made.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
It goes back to what you said is right. It's 100 or nothing. And Dr. Benjamin Hardy says 100% is actually easier than 99%, 98%. Because 98 or 99% means you haven't truly made a decision. Mm-hmm. You haven't. You're not fully convicted to it. If you're even at 99%, there's a 1%. And here's what happens. This is what most people don't understand is, and I do this in one of my keynotes. I show the people and I always like to use women, no offense to the women, but they go out to eat with their girlfriends for birthday parties more than boys do, right? Like we just don't do it that often. We're going to go drink a beer and watch a game, right? They go to like birthday and celebrate each other and they love it. Point is this: 5 ladies go to work, right? Or they go to this luncheon. They all have a goal, right? They all made a goal at the first of the year, right? But check this out. This is why environment matters. And this is why conviction matters is that they have it that, they all order whatever, and then it's all done. And here comes the cheesecake because it's the girl's birthday and it has one candle, just one sliver of cheesecake. And everybody gets their spoon. You all have done it. You've all seen it. You've all been there before, right? And the first person has already given up on the goal, right? They all made a goal together. First of the year, we're going to all lose 20 pounds, whatever, right? First one's already given up. She's 0%. She's like, give me that shit. She's taking the biggest scoop there is, right? The next girl is about 25% committed, meaning 25% of the time she makes great choices on her food. 25% of the time she makes it to the workouts that it takes to get there, right? And so she's like, yeah, the girl next to me had it. So if she has a bite, I can have a bite, right? I'm influenced by those around me. I'm a sum of the 5 people I hang around. She takes a little sliver. The next one's 50%. She's like 50-50, right? Half the time she's making it, half the time she's good, right? She's the one that does this. Hey, I ordered a salad so I can have a cut of this, right? That's her excuse. I just justified it. Uh-huh. Boom. You guys out there, you've all done it. I know, right? Oh, I ordered a salad. Of course I can have a bite of that. Great, right? And then you got the last two. You got the 99%er, right? The 99%er, man, she actually hasn't missed a workout. She's only had one bad meal. Like she'd been in it to win it, but she's 99%. And the 3 girls ahead of her who she loves, who they're friends, who have all had the same goal. And she's like, yo, I am kicking their ass. Like I am straight up dominating. I report every week. I'm showing my ass up, right? She's only that little open crack that she had that one night where she had some wine and some cheese or whatever, right? And she's like, dude, I'm so far ahead of these girls. I've earned, look, I can do this, right? And she takes a little bit too. Then it gets to the 100%er. Ladies and gentlemen, arms are folded. She doesn't even reach for the spoon. She doesn't even look at it because I'm 100% committed to my goal. Mm-hmm. And it's easy. You know what she says? She says, no, thank you. That's not in alignment with where I'm going.
We preach that all the time, man.
Bro, 100% or nothing, dude. Yeah. Like if you're 99, the environment will fuck you.
And here's the
environment will take you down the wrong road.
Your environment is probably going to try to fuck you. Like statistically speaking, your friends, your family, oh, it's just one bite. Oh, come on, but you already look great. Oh, it's just one night. It's just one drink. Fuck that, dude. No,
well, you're opening the floodgates.
You are. And you said no, thank you. Dude, no is a complete fucking sentence. Okay. in my circle, as a bodybuilder, like, we're in prep, dude, 100% all in if you fuck up, you're just opening the gate for someone to come beat you. All right. That is not going to fly. Right. So, we go out to dinner, say you're in prep, you bring your Tupperware, you got your Tupperware. Yeah, everyone else is eating the beautiful food. It looks so good. Dessert comes out and you're like, just tell me what it tastes like. Just can I smell it? You're like, smells are calorie free. That won't fuck me. Like, but I'm not going to fucking eat it because, and in that situation, we're around other bodybuilders. Yeah, everyone's like, no, you can't fucking eat that. But you're around friends, you're around family. Dude, you got to watch who you're around because they don't always want you to win. In fact, more often than not, they want you to be great, but they don't want you to be better than them. So that last person, they're going to try to bring down. It's like crabs in a bucket, dude. You better hold on tight.
Right.
So, yeah, man, that's a great story. I like the way that you worded that. Dude, I feel like we could honestly just talk forever. We're coming up on an hour. I know, dude, we're going to have to do it again. We like to keep these to an hour. We're going to have to do these again because, we could just rap for hours on end. I can just tell. But, man, I think this was a really valuable episode. You got a lot of really good takeaways for us. Obviously, we connect. We're very like-minded, all or nothing. I know that our listeners are going to want to find you, follow you, learn more about you because they're just like we are. They're committed. They're 100%. They're all in. So, I really appreciate you coming on, man. Why don't you tell our listeners, where can they find you? What do you got going on? Where can they learn more about Optimal Self? Give us your plug.
Yeah, we're real easy for you guys. We're just making it simple. Our webpage, optimalself.today. Again, just like .com, but it's .today, optimalself.today. And what we've done is we've put all the links to our podcast, to the YouTube channel, all of our socials, Instagram, Facebook, all that stuff. We do have a sign up where you can get into our it's free. It's our private Facebook group where a lot of this stuff, like we bring guys like you on in there and share with them, but only to the private group. We do some stuff like that, obviously to the podcast as well. But the people who are members in there, again, you're some of the 5 people, man. So we want to bring like-minded people in there that add value. You know what I mean? Like this is not about me. Like I want everyone to be clear on this is, the reason why Optimal Self and the reason why I started it was, I've got to tour the world playing baseball. I've been around some incredible people learning how to be better at CrossFit and wanting to be a champion and even in business. And I truly believe this is that, I know we all have our own fingerprint, right? Everyone on earth has a different fingerprint. But what I truly believe is we also internally have our own blueprint. And a lot of times that gets hidden and it gets pushed down at a young age and it never gets out there. The way I like to say it best is everybody has a unique song inside of them. And it's a shame that anybody goes to their grave with that thing and with that song inside of them. I want to hear it. I know you want to hear it. We want to see the greatness in everybody. And so this platform, it would be a shame for people to give to me, for me to learn things from great humans that we're not afraid to share, and for me to die with that inside of me. So I'm going to give you everything that I know, everything that I can. This isn't about me. It's about helping people become the best version of them. So if they jump over to the website, they'll see everything on there. Again, we'd love to have you into the private group as well. And again, being around people that are going to pull for you, that are going to root for you, and that are going to share their insights and stories with you so that, again, we learn from each other, man. I got to be on here with you guys, not to come give. I'll give as much as I can, but I'm here to learn as well. So I'm super grateful that you guys have me on and we got to share this time, man. Please, let's do this more, man. You guys are incredible, dude.
Hell yeah.
Like, I love it.
We definitely have to. And I'm glad that you mentioned you had a private group. I have a private group too. And I think the people in there would love to hear from you as well. So
dude, I would love that.
Let's set it up.
Let's reciprocate, man. I'll come in there any day you want, bro. Any day you want. You let me know, I'm in.
That sounds awesome, man. I'll reach out to you. We'll make it happen. So people are going to get a little more of you and I can't wait for it. But for everybody who's tuned in, I know y'all are going to love this episode. Please share it, like tag Jeremy, tag Travis and I. This is really one for the books and it's not going to be the last one. So for everybody who tuned into this episode of the Struggle to Strength podcast, we thank you very much and we will see you all next week.